Right, welcome back, you crafty sailors of old. I am Evil Tim, and this is Let's Play Homefront. So let's go back to playing Homefront. It's time for the helicopter level, where we climb into our MH6 Little Bird helicopter. It's a little bird. Aww. So, we've got to use our guns and rocketry upon these Koreans who are skittering around in a crap manner ahead of us while these people talk. How would you know? Okay, so we'll take out the APCs as Connor is ordering us to, as it tells us the controls and tries to bug us into using the thermal vision. But we don't want to use the thermal vision, we don't need to. We have little red targety things in order to tell us where to shoot our rockets. Right, this is the thermal vision. It screws up the whole screen, which is phenomenal, and it also makes everything appear in red because of communism. So let's round this corner here, and then we will come upon the first of this level's many stupid ideas. Yes, we have to fly through a tunnel. Apparently Jacobs is unaware of the fact that helicopters can go up as well as along, so we're going to have to go along with Connor's insane plan of going through here. And to be honest, if I were Jacobs, I would have just turfed him out the door and told him to walk. But sadly, Jacobs is as ever useless, and so he must carry on down this here tunnel, and if you scrape the roof, you die instantly. It's marvellous. Anyway, up ahead is a very silly thing. It's one of those puzzles which don't really work very well. And we are already running out of time because it has now placed a circle around the middle tanker which is counting down to make us go back into it, because this level is very badly designed, you see. So we've got to take out all of their escorty type blokes here as they fire rockets at us in a silly fashion. None of this is really a threat to us, so we are free to rule over them and dominate them from the skies. So that's going to try and take us out, but it's not going to succeed. So anyway, one of the problems with puzzles is when you don't figure out the correct solution. You see, either you never figure out the solution and you're just randomly trying shit, or in this case you figure out a solution, but it never seems like the right one, so you feel like you have cheated somehow, that you have cheated your way out of gameplay. Meanwhile, Connor is threatening to throw Hopper out of a moving vehicle. What a lovely fellow he is. Okay, so what you actually have to do here is just sort of glide along the ground and hammer the use key, and then they will cling onto these vehicles and throw the drivers out. Apparently they all have brakes on their accelerators or something to facilitate this. So you can actually do this so quickly they're still saying their lines as they climb into the tankers even. It feels like this isn't the right solution. There must be some other way, something that's supposed to make this difficult, but there isn't anything. So he's going to climb in there and do his stuff, and we are going to get a trophy for doing that in whatever manner we did. Brilliant stuff, I'm sure. So yeah, we go. We're leaving the mission there. You see, there is a second layer of failing this mission. There is the circles around the tankers, but there is also the edge of the map, and if you continue trying to fly outside of that for too long, you will fail the mission instantaneously. I guess this mission is for all those people who thought that the mission in Black Ops was a bit constrained. This is to prove that no, actually it wasn't. By this thing's standard, that was a work of art. Anyway, there is a SAM launcher here. It's not an Uncle Sam launcher, otherwise it would be on our side, so it must be an evil SAM launcher. So we have defeated it and sent it back into the void from whence it came, but there are others. There are many others. And you probably noticed the little tip that popped up there was to activate missile defeat. I guess that means something in a language, but it's not this one, I'm afraid. So let's carry on helicoptering our way over here and see what other threats await us as we move on forth. There's another one behind that hill, and yes, it will quite happily fire its SAM straight into the side of the hill, but we are prepared for it. We have our guns and rockets, and we have blown it to pieces again. So now there's a checkpoint, so we'd better go and deal with that as well, with our missilery. There we go, and a huge explosion is the result. It was crawling with Koreans and spiders, but we blew up their tank full of explosion, and that defeated them thoroughly. Oh great, now we're in California. I thought my guns felt a bit crapper all of a sudden, so let's fly over here and see what Californian things await us. There's a overpass filled with mans, so we must destroy all of them, whatever they are. They are little red things. This has the same problem as Turok, in that you're basically playing a game where you are firing rockets at a bunch of dots. It's rather silly. So we've taken out that overpass there, which probably wasn't the idea. It was apparently filled with flour, so we are going to have to take a detour around the side over the off-road things. Yes, and apparently Connor drives like an idiot as well as talking like one and acting like one. He is a very consistent chap, if nothing else. So now we've got this sort of enemy base camp here, and I apologise for the thing on the upload, and indeed with me commenting now, you can't see the blokes who are wandering around in front of that building. You're just going to have to trust me that they were there once, long ago. Back in the past of time, when there were dinosaurs roaming around this area, perhaps, and that would have made a much more interesting level than this one, so perhaps there weren't after all. You're a Humvee, get out of it. We don't need any of that in this kind of place, so let's take this guy here out, and then we will see Connor go forth. Then we will take out all of the invisible men who you can't see in the upload because they are pointless. You're pointless. I've blown you to pieces for it, and Connor is now driving forward. You know, I would trust Connor in the driving of trucks, because it seems like the only thing he might know how to do, that and piloting couches. But anyway, he is currently pushing boxes? Porta cabins? Toilets? I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing, but it was very important, I'm sure, and worth risking the mission for, because there's no way he'd ever do anything ridiculous. So we'll take out those guys there, and then he will turn that corner and we will almost leave the mission, because apparently over there is a place we cannot go. It's not like they even tell you why you can't leave the mission area. They, you know, in the Battlefield games, they will tell you that there are mortars zeroed on it or something, or that there are SAMs operating in that area. But there's no excuse at all. You just leave the area and then you fail the mission for no reason at all. It's phenomenal and fantastic. Anyway, there's more of these little red marker things, and so we'll have to take all of them out for truth, justice, and democracy. And there's usually a couple of guys over there with RPGs, but we're going to sort them out ahead of time with our explosions, because that is just the way we roll. We will destroy them in a freedom-type fashion. Meanwhile, a bunch of men have climbed out of the ceiling of that area there, but we are prepared. We knew that they were about to do that, and so we defeated them once again. You can hear a bit of machine gun fire down there, but it really doesn't matter, so we've turned on our crappy thermal vision so that we can see things, and they are meanwhile shouting at us in a nonsensical manner. But that doesn't matter. Their weapons are of no effect against our mighty jellycopter. Actually, it's not a very mighty jellycopter at all. It's a fairly weak and wussy one, but it's more superior than these tanks. This is where you can tell that these guys were Battlefield 2 modders, is the fact that helicopters are just generally superior to the mighty main battle tank. They're very, very easy to take out indeed. I guess that's also why Goliath succeeded at defeating that tank-type thing. Anyway, Sam is over there as well. He gets around quite a lot, that fellow, and he is trying to fire at us, but luckily his missiles will all turn away as soon as we turn on our missile defeat system thing. But there is an attack helicopter here, and it has spotted us, and it is onto our ways, and our wusscopter is no match for it. Yes, even in the helicopter level, you can still be taken out almost instantaneously before you're really even aware of what's shooting at you. So they're pointing at that thing again. I guess they think that that will solve all of their problems. And now listen and behold, as Hopper's voice actor realizes he isn't being paid by the hour. You want to say that a little faster? Okay, we're going to take out the SAM site over here, which is on the parking garage roof. Otherwise, it will defeat us and get us. But there is also an attack helicopter, and lots of men are about to spawn to attack the tankers. Incidentally, the tankers and the helicopter have regenerating health, which is better than some vehicle levels, where you will have to take flight in a vehicle which is actually less tough than you are. But that doesn't really dignify the fact that we are in this incredibly wussy helicopter. You're supposed to feel powerful in vehicle levels, but we don't here. And really, I'm not sure why we didn't just steal one of these Korean-type helicopters instead of this here copter here. I think that would make for a much more fun level, but then what do I know? So, hundreds of rockets are flying everywhere, so we'd better take care of that sort of nonsense, and then we will have Connor telling us what to do again. Right, more RPGs, and there's also another SAM launcher over there, as if there's not enough problems for us already, so we've defeated all of that stuff. Everyone's going to talk at once. I'm fairly sure they knew that already. Okay, so we've got to try and take out these here SAM launchers, otherwise they will destroy us while we try and finish the level. Actually, a couple of them won't even fire at you. They will ignore you because they think of you as unimportant and rubbish looking. But they're wrong to think that, and we will now destroy them before they really even realize what is up with the matter. They thought that we were a friendly helicopter, but we were lying to them. We were abusing their trust, don't you know? So, around here are a bunch of ships which have been beached, and we get that trophy there because, as I said, you don't really have to take those things out at all. Look, an aircraft carrier. Let's go and examine it, because surely the map wouldn't end before something interesting like that. Surely. Okay, that's CVN-74, which is the USS John C. Stennis, I believe, which they mentioned in a previous intel. Okay, so that man is planting his bomb device upon that there tank, but we're not into him, and so he can carry on at it, and this is where it returns you to if you try to see that thing with your curiosity, and we don't care about that, so we're going to skip back over here, having defeated all of that stuff again, and now the carrier won't tempt us. It will have to stay there. So what, is like the US's plan to retire their carriers, as said previously, by just dumping them in random locations? I guess there's no fly tipping charges in California or something. But it doesn't matter, so apparently Connor is now going to break down that fool that he was.
We're sitting ducks out here.
No, you're a bunch of transport truckety things, actually, not like ducks at all. I feel that you are a liar, sir, and I will not handle your dishonesty a moment longer. That carrier also stands in condemnation of you. But now we have the ending of this glorious section, which will be taking out lots of trucks which are respawning. What, all the C4 that he put on Goliath? Yes, no, apparently Hopper does carry enough C4 around with him at all times to blow up a bridge. I have no idea where he got that from, or why we didn't use it to take out those checkpoints that were thwarting Goliath, but I guess it's just he fished it out of a plot hole that he found in the previous level or something. So anyway, hundreds of trucks are now going to come towards us, and tanks and such like, but we will just turn on our thermity vision and shoot their redness before they can get anywhere near us in a spectacular gameplay manner. This is the end of the level, and this is what it's all about. It's fascinating stuff, don't you know? So along comes that thing, but it will fail because we have rockets and things like that. Okay, he's got half the charges in place, so we are halfway to being completed, but there are more of these Korean things sailing in at all times, and we must defeat them before they can rocketize the convoy over here. You know, Hopper, I think it would take less time if you weren't laying huge flashing red lights on them. Just a bit of a word to the wise there. Not that that would really help, because you are not the wise. So let's take these guys out as well, because they have a tank. It's a boss type thing there. So we are going to have to shoot slightly more rockets at that particular red dot, and that will make it explosion-fire on the bridge, which for some reason will not destroy the bridge. I guess exploding tanks are just harmless that way. So he's nearly finished his stuff, and that's the last charge set. There's one more spawn wave of enemies coming in, though. We'd better take them all out. Otherwise, this plan will fail. Not that it didn't fail already. And then there's that one there, and I believe that is the lot. That is all of them. I will check it with my thermal vision to be sure of this matter. And now they will start to drive away, because they are ready to cut off the Koreans, who are conspicuously not coming behind them. I guess that peace and quiet on the bridge was a severe menace to the possibility of this convoy arriving at its densitation. I like that Connor thinks he has to say that. So yes, we've slightly collapsed the bridge a bit, maybe. That's spectacular.
That ought to slow the fuckers down.
Unless they have any other routes to get onto this highway.
This is Connor Morgan of the Montrose, Colorado Resistance. We have
He basically is most of them now.
To the US Army.
Which have jet fuel in them, by the way, which we only found out recently.
Meet us there, over.
Okay, so since we can't fly over tunnels, we are doomed. We're just going to have to live here, I suppose. So, we have 3 hours. Do I have 3 hours of fuel? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. So,
Once upon a time in America, our
there were 3 little pigs. No, wait.
well-funded machine capable of projecting massive power anywhere in the world.
Though with hindsight, sending that aircraft carrier to the top of Everest was a bad idea.
The hammer blows of a cunning enemy changed all that.
They took the swings and everything.
This country's strength has never been solely weighed by its guns and treasure.
Our skill at building tree houses was also very important.
Years ago, farmers and shopkeepers, printers and blacksmiths fought a mighty empire, armed with little more than courage and a dream of freedom.
And lots of guns.
Today, a new generation of civilians would join our armed forces to tear San Francisco from enemy hands.
And one of them will be Connor, so we're all doomed.
But you're its terrible, swift sword.
Emphasis on terrible.
This is a war of the people, by the people.
With the people.
Let freedom reign.
Next to the people. Okay, so freedom will ring over there on that bridge, but that has been that, and I have been Evil Tim. Goodbye.